Welcome in to episode 12 of the Godly Young Men podcast. 12 episodes in.
Crazy.
We wanted to do something as we get, Joe's going to get us into the episode here in just a second, but with this being our 12th episode, we were talking and we were both very curious because we kind of covered a wide range of topics so far.
Yeah.
And, when we first sat down and mapped out our list of here are all the things we want to cover, we had a lot of things, but we didn't really have an order to them.
Right.
Just because there's a topic here, there's a topic there, so we got to hit all this stuff. And so, we tried to do some things, based on timing. We did the How to Talk to Girls episode on Valentine's Day and, just some stuff to try to add some kind of, I guess, timing nature to it. But other than that, it's been kind of random. And so my question is, for anybody that's watching that would like to, drop a comment about what's been your favorite episode so far. We're 12 episodes in. Again, kind of covered a wide variety of things. And so just because it kind of helps us know what do our listeners like to listen to, what do they like to watch, what are the episodes that help them the most. So yeah, that's how we're going to start this. Go ahead, drop what your favorite episode has been so far. Go all the way back. We've covered Strive for Greatness. We've covered how to talk to girls. We've covered how to step up in your relationship with God, confidence versus arrogance, all this stuff.
How to study the Bible.
How to study the Bible. Yeah, let us know what your favorite episode is. We're very curious.
What's your favorite episode?
I loved Confidence versus Arrogance.
Did you?
Yes, which I think is one of our lesser watched videos on YouTube. I haven't checked the listens, but I thought that was a really good one. How about you?
Strive for Greatness. As cliche as it is, the first one, I love, come out of the gate.
It kind of sets the tone for the
exactly.
whole,
for the rest
whole
of
thing.
For the rest of what it is, which, if you're good with it, I'll get right into.
Go for it, yeah.
Next thing we're looking to strive for greatness on is our habits, right? And everything that we've discussed for the last 11 episodes, now we're hitting our 12th, really boils down to the habits that we have. Do we have good habits that and good routines and good rhythms in our lives that help us in these areas? It's one thing to have a really good session of Bible study and then don't pick up your Bible for 3 months.
Right.
And in my work with addiction, what I notice is the start of the morning is probably the most important time when it comes to habits. So obviously I work with porn addicts quite a bit for my work, and when you start the morning right, for whatever reason, and there are reasons, we're about to get into it.
Yeah.
The day goes really well. The day goes smoothly. And so I feel like how you start your morning does determine the success of the day. And so that's why I was a little passionate about this and why I mentioned this to you. I think we should cover this is because this isn't just for addicts.
Yeah.
This is for me, you, anybody else out there that is wanting to win the day, wanting to conquer the day and to do their best. And to allow the things we've discussed to be ingrained in the habits. It all starts in the morning.
Well, I want to recall all of our listeners back to kind of something we talked about in episode 1 that you just referenced, Strive for Greatness, and also kind of the promotional video for this, is that so many young men are just kind of aimless, right? Just kind of wandering around like, what do I need to do with my life and this and that. And what you really see for a lot of people, that are for young men specifically, especially those that are not out of high school yet, they kind of do that with their days sometimes too.
Yeah,
like
they do.
They
Aimless.
do it. Yeah, just what am I going to do to maybe it's summer or something. They're out of school. What am I going to do today? Well, I guess I'll figure it out. It's so. If you have that mindset in your teenage years, that's going to be a pretty hard mindset to break once you hit the age where you better start having daily habits. And so I appreciate you for bringing this up because it's something that I think you're absolutely right on. I think the way you structure your morning and conquering the morning really sets the tone for the day. And I've seen this played out when I was, I'm trying to think, I always enjoyed sleeping in on Saturdays. I was homeschooled. And I was not a part of the just sleeping every day crowd. That would always drive me nuts.
Yeah.
That people would say, homeschoolers just sleeping every day. No, we did not.
Nope.
At least I did not.
I didn't either.
Saturdays I would sleep in. And I would notice, and this even continued again on even when I would have Saturdays off later on in my life, man, when I would sleep till 9:30, 10, feel great, but I would be so groggy for the rest of the day. And my day was shot. I had no,
You're playing catch up.
Didn't feel like doing anything, playing catch up. And you really see that, again, now that I'm working a lot, and for those of our watchers and listeners who work, you've probably seen this too, your day just goes differently when you get up and you just start being productive as soon as your morning gets going. It sets the tone. It really does.
I think a lot of our viewership, we're probably looking at some homeschool kids, right?
Yeah.
Some homeschool boys. We're looking at college-age kids. Well, I don't have classes. My first class starts at 10 a.m. Okay, well, good for you. So what are you doing in the morning time? So as you referenced, it's very easy to have I'll get up and do it, 9, 10, whenever I roll out of bed, I'll kind of get started. Look, by the time you do that, the world, especially as you think about the world kind of starting in New York, and I know that's New York is let's just be honest, the Big Apple. Like, the world starts when New York wakes up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, New York is up at 4 or 5 a.m. So by the time, let's say you're in Mountain Time and you're up at 10 a.m., literally it's noon.
Their day is 60% over.
That's
like
exactly it.
Day,
6 to 8 hours, the world has been churning, and you're behind. And maybe that's the FOMO that I have, the fear of missing out.
Sure.
But like, I feel like we're always playing catch up. And so for those that maybe you are listening, going, "Wow, my mornings." We're doing that for you and for me as well. I'm not,
because some might be going, who cares?
Right.
What's the big deal? It matters because you're like you brought up about habits,
right?
Setting habits and getting to the point where you get in this habit rather than, okay, I've got to be somewhere at 9:45. I'll get up at 9:15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of it's lazy. And can you never sleep in? No, we're not saying that. I still the rare day that I get to sleep in, I will take advantage. But we're talking about habits that you set when you're working. For those of you who are not working and are still in school, like Joe said again, especially for the homeschool community that can kind of have that reputation of school in pajamas, just kind of not taking it seriously. For all you godly young men who are trying to be godly, we want to talk about setting the tone for the morning and why it's so important. You've got something on here. Rhythm replaces strength. Get into that for just a second.
Man, when you are tired and you are exhausted, but you go to the gym and you've been going to the gym for the last 50 days straight, the rhythm, the routine that you are in dictates you're probably going to go to the gym.
Right.
If I'm waiting on my willpower to kick in and, I'm ready to go and I'm motivated,
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. The rhythm that I've set is what caused me to do it. Same thing with prayer. Same thing with eating healthy. Same thing with all of that is if your rhythm that you set, you conquer the morning and, your morning time is you get up and you pray and you meditate and you get your breakfast and your coffee and you sit down with your alone time with God, right? And you get to read the Bible. And when that's the case, then again, it replaces your strength. It replaces that self-control of like, you're not always going to have it. But when you're doing that consistently,
right,
that's just a habit that you wake up. That's what I do. It's the same thing as brushing your teeth. I don't always feel like brushing my teeth. It's such an ingrained habit. Like, of course, that's what I do. I'm not waiting for that, again, for the strength to do it, for the motivation to do it.
Think about how little time it takes to brush your teeth.
That's right.
And how little it's a brainless activity, right? But so many times we get so tired at the end of the day. I've been guilty of this where I do every night, trust me. But I won't want to be like, man, this is such an inconvenience.
Right.
But you're right, because of the rhythm. But now you take a 2-minute session of brushing your teeth, right, you can see how people get with their Bible study and with their time with God, and even with something as simple as exercising. We had another episode about that.
Yeah.
Man, you put that off and you just continually, that can wait till another day, that can wait till later, that can wait till I have more energy.
That's right.
It's never going to happen.
So yeah, we have to recognize willpower is a muscle. As we're talking about the strength, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about doing it and the motivation and such. Willpower is a muscle. If you're waiting till the end of the day to do all of these things, you're flat out exhausted.
Yep.
The willpower is exhausted. That's why, again, in the addictions work I do, the majority, and by majority I mean the large majority of relapsing takes place at nighttime, alone in your room at night. There's other reasons why being alone and being isolated from everybody, that can cause, it's nighttime. You spent the entire day staying away from temptation. You're tired. Your willpower muscle's been pumping weights. So you go, well, it shouldn't take that much. What I would challenge our watchers, listeners to do, take a 10-pound weight. It doesn't weigh very much at all. See how many curls you can do. Oh, I bet I could do 100. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right? We'll see. When you're curling 10 pounds, it's like, oh, it's not that big a deal until you hit 20, 30, 40, and you're going,
71st. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all of a sudden, that's really heavy. Well, that's willpower. So, starting at the beginning of the day with all of these good habits, I don't have to have my willpower at the end of the day to now I'm praying, now I'm doing my Bible study, now I'm going to the gym. It's never going to happen. If we put it at the very beginning of the day when willpower is at its highest, we're in a good spot. So I wanted to get into, and I'm going to kick it to you, some good habits, some things that as we're talking about starting the day, what are some good habits and some good things that our listeners can maybe put into practice to help them start the day off right?
Before I answer that, though, a word that we have not used yet that very much plays into this discussion is procrastination. I'm the biggest, world's biggest offender, I should say, of procrastination.
I'm probably second.
It's the idea that, hey, you've got all this time in the world to do something, so just push it off as long as possible. Yeah. And you see that with the mornings, right? I have had days where, I've got to get a sermon done. And I'll think, I'll get to that later. I'm going to spend my morning with my wife and with Jackson, and I'll get to that maybe around lunchtime or after lunch. Well, lunchtime rolls around, and then something comes up, or it's like, oh man, I still got plenty. Let me push it off, right?
Yep.
Push it off. Lo and behold, it's 11:30 at night, and guess what? I haven't finished my sermon. Now I had one thing to do that day that I could have gotten up at 7 a.m., 7 to 10, 7 to 11, however long, knocked it out, and had the rest of the evening free. And what did I choose to do? Push off,
Yep.
push off, push off. And I think a lot of young people specifically can be guilty of that. Again, I would consider myself pretty young. I'm pretty guilty of that. And so I think that plays into this. When you look at your day and you're like, I've got all these responsibilities, I got these things I got to get done, rather than like, well, let me sleep in, let me kind of have a leisurely morning, and I'll get to that stuff later. Get up and knock it out.
Yeah.
So you ask about habits. One of the things that I would recommend, and let me preface this, not everybody can do this. I can't do this right now, actually. But try, if you're able, having your alarm go off at a consistent time through the week.
Yeah.
One time every morning. Now, again, not everybody can do that. I personally can't do that right now. There are certain days that I have to be up incredibly early, and there are other days that I don't. And so my alarm time fluctuates a little bit. But if you're able to, man, you talk about rhythm. You talk about setting that habit. If you know your work day needs to start at, as far as like maybe you clock in or maybe you have office work, or whatever it is, let's say 8:30. Set that alarm for 7 every morning or 7:15, whatever it is, and set it at the same time for every single day through the week, because you get in that habit.
That's right.
You get in, because I'm also very guilty of, man, my morning is so rushed. Get in the shower, brush my teeth, man, whereas, man, sometimes those mornings where you can actually focus and get a lot of things done can be really helpful. So that alarm at a consistent time, again, I can't do it right now, so maybe you should have preached this point, but in the past when I've been able to, it does really help.
Well, I haven't either, because 3 of the days of the week I go to the gym with my brother. Get up at 5. It's not a ton of fun. The other days I don't need to be up at 5. So I'm with you. I wrote the outline and I put this down. I don't even follow it.
There are a lot of people who can set their alarm, especially you homeschool boys that are still in high school.
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you why this is important. Because this happened a month or so ago. My alarm, I don't know. I guess I didn't set my alarm. And you know when I woke up? 5:15.
How about that?
5:15. Right around the time when, as horrible as it is, don't hit snooze, but I hit snooze. So usually 5:15 is when I'm rolling out of bed. My body woke me up because it was used to getting up at that time. And so you start setting these
What's
rhythms.
so interesting about that is I still do sometimes, roll my eyes at all those older people that be like, yeah, my body woke me up at 4:30. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It didn't.
No.
But it's true.
It happens.
I mean, for a lot of people, their body just naturally wakes them up. And it's the habit. It's the consistency.
That's exactly it. There's no way my body's waking me up at 5:15 otherwise, but I had gotten in the habit of doing that.
Right.
3 times a week. So that's important. Set the alarm at the consistent time. And I would say the earlier the better. If you do have to be at work at 8, I'd encourage you to be up at 6, honestly. Have that couple hours. Why? Because you can get a workout in. You can get your Bible study in. You can get your prayer in. You can get your shower in. You can get your coffee and your breakfast in.
Quiet time. There's something about quiet
time. Exactly. Like, slow the day down to your pace right off the bat. You're also not super behind on the day because not everybody else has been up for forever. So you're not super behind. It just helps. So I would say the earlier the better. The second thing, so alarm at a consistent time. The second thing that I would say as far as habits, good habits to have, make your bed. Make your bed. It seems so small.
We're gonna do a little mock debate here and play the devil's advocate. Joe, why on earth do we need to make our bed? You really mess up the sheets when you get back in it at night. It's a literal waste of time.
You accomplish one thing in the day. You've accomplished one thing in the day already. And if you accomplish nothing else that day, you accomplish one thing. There's something to be said about, a cluttered desk equals a cluttered mind. I would say the same thing about the bed. Matter of fact, I've heard it said the state of your bed represents your mind.
Interesting.
And represents your life. Is it perpetually messy? Do the sheets need to be washed? Is it disgusting, or is it immaculate? And those who have immaculate sheets where it's, pillows are exactly where they need to be, usually are those that are striving to have their life together.
Well, you know why you can see that? Because, of course, I was playing the devil's advocate there. I think it does matter. It's because that's something you can control.
That's right.
And if you have something in your control that you're just like,
immediately
doesn't really matter, let it go by the wayside, that's something small. What about something big that's in your control? Right. If you won't even make your bed, again, people look at it and go, it's trivial, doesn't matter. It's something small that's in your control that you're just kind of going, man, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Well, Jordan Peterson got big for, kind of calling out slacktivism and those that post on Twitter. We're going to save the world. And his big thing was go clean your room.
Yeah, start there.
Start there. You can't change the world until you clean your room. And so many people, they get on Twitter and they're irate and we're going to fix the climate. We're going to fix all these things in their room, and their bed's not made and their room is a mess. That says something about you. That says something about who you are, and it says something about whether you have your life together. And I think Jordan Peterson's so right. Clean your own room. Like, get up in the morning, make your bed, make it look immaculate, because you can always come back to that. There's a great book actually called Make Your Bed, and there's a speech that goes along with it from Admiral McRaven. Mick Raven is truly McRaven, if you want to look that up. But his whole thing was, you've accomplished one thing in the day.
Yeah.
And obviously being an admiral in the military, like, that's a big deal. You have to make your bed. But why is it that the military would make people make their bed? Maybe there's something to it.
Yeah. When you think about, again, just why this matters and why this is even something that we're bothering to devote a full episode to, I hate appealing to the way something feels, because I think our culture can overdo that to,
Sure,
it's all about the feel and how does it make you feel. That's 9 times out of 10 not a good thing. But I want you to think about, you could definitely speak to this, but I want all of our listeners and watchers to think about the days that, once again, sleep in late, don't get a lot of things done, certainly don't exercise, just kind of slovenly go throughout the day. How do you feel at 2:30 in the afternoon? You feel dead. Like, you just don't feel like, you don't feel productive. You don't feel like you've accomplished anything, because you probably haven't. You just don't feel good on the other side of things. You get up, and I'm not going to name a time, but you get up early, maybe exercise, you get a good start, you productive, you work really hard till, and again, where do you find yourself at 2:30? Feeling a whole lot better.
That's right.
Feeling, usually, for me, I'm going to speak for myself, more energized.
That's right.
Which is weird, considering, hey, I got up at 4 this morning. You would think I would have way less energy than the other days that I got up at 9 o'clock. That's not the way it works, at least for me. Again, I hate appealing to the feelings. I feel way more energized, and I feel way mentally better if my mornings start out right.
That's right. You go to bed, and this is all about, we've mentioned this on the podcast before. Can you look yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
Be proud of who you see. When you're up early, I'm telling you, try it. Experiment with it. If you're not used to waking up early,
and try it for, I'm going to put a number on it.
I was going to say a week. I would say try it for a week. See how you feel after the week. You're going to hate it. Oh, why am I doing this?
Getting up out of bed, I will say this. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Getting out of bed does not get easier, at least for me.
Nah, the
getting out of bed part and taking the step to not hit snooze on my alarm and actually put my feet on the floor and go to the bathroom and start my shower, whatever it is, that does not get any easier. No. I got up at 4 o'clock this morning. It was not easier today than it was 2 months ago to do that. But man, is it still worth it? Go ahead. Sorry.
And I'll say, halfway through my gym time is when I go, man, I'm glad I got up.
Yeah,
halfway through. Not when I get there. Yeah. Not when I get there, but halfway through, I'm like, this is a good day. I really didn't want to be up. I've been exhausted for the first 2, 3, 4 exercises, but now that I'm in it and I'm up, I'm really glad the sun's just now starting to rise up, because, and daylight savings is shifting that, but sun's just starting to rise up, and it's like, wow, that's when it feels good. But yeah, I would say, again, coming back to, and this is going to kind of get us in the next one, are you proud of who you see? Take a week.
Go ahead.
Take a week. See what you think. See how you feel. Look yourself in the mirror. Are you more proud of that person? And don't waste the time. You get up at 6 a.m. and you're
get on YouTube.
Yeah, get on
hours.
YouTube,
That's
Instagram.
Not what we mean. Yeah.
That's not at all a good morning routine. We're talking being productive, and it doesn't have to be jumping into work either. Time with God, alone time with yourself, some meditation,
reading a book,
growing.
Well, I want to speak to before we get into the next thing. You talked about it's about how you see yourself in the mirror. This plays so much into what I referenced at the beginning. It was my favorite episode: confidence versus arrogance. How much more confident do you feel about, again, not even with just the workout thing, but again, and maybe people would think this gets into the arrogant side of things, but it's something that helps motivate me, at least when you're up at 6:30 working out or doing whatever. Who else sleeping in right now? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just that little mindset of you hear athletes that would do that. That Kobe Bryant would get up and he would work out. Literally, he'd be in the gym at 4:15 in the morning, because he knew, I'm going to be the only one there. No, everybody else is sleeping in.
That's right.
I'm going to be here working.
Got that edge.
Exactly, got the edge. And so, again, not to be prideful, not to be arrogant, but man, it feels good to know I'm being productive. There are other people that are being lazy. I'm not going to be one of those people.
That's so true. Yeah. Look, this is a Godly Young Men podcast. I know there's probably women that watch and girls that watch. Us guys are competitive. Use that competitive edge to do this. That's a perfect point. But as we're talking about looking in the mirror, the next thing, what I would say is, of course, start alarm at a consistent time. I'd say try not to hit the snooze. I'm still working on that one. But alarm at a consistent time. Make your bed. The third thing, clean up. Look in the mirror, right? Brush your teeth. Wash your face. Take a shower. Clean up your room. Clean up and be presentable by the time you go out, instead of, man, my hair just looks horrible.
We're going to have a full episode about why that particular aspect of this matters.
Yeah, that's
about
right.
Being presentable and actually caring about. A lot of people think, man, guys shouldn't care about their appearance. We disagree. You shouldn't be divas, I would say. And again, we'll save this for another episode. But yes, this is important as
We're not looking to be gay. Okay?
Right.
We're men, right? But at the same time, these things matter in how you get up and present yourself, and the brushing the teeth and the the washing your face, the taking a shower, like those things matter, and it matters up here for you as well. I'm ready to meet the day.
Yep.
I didn't roll out of bed with bed hair and everything else. I mean, I take a shower almost every morning. I know there's going to be health nuts. Wow, that's really bad.
Shouldn't wash your hair every day.
Exactly. I realize that. But you know what? I don't like looking like a grease ball. I really don't like looking like a grease ball. I see clients every single day. I'm not about to roll up with greasy hair and looking like I'm disheveled and everything else. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I put together because if I take myself seriously, they'll take me seriously. And if I don't, why would they take me seriously?
Yeah, I've been referencing athletics quite a bit the last few episodes, but Deion Sanders, you're familiar with? You familiar with his big quote? Look good. Was it look good, feel good, play good, you play good, they pay good. So I mean, and what does that all start with? Looking good, right?
Looking
presentable.
Good.
But I don't really have much to add to that one. No. I want to get into because you're absolutely right. I mean, take care of yourself, be productive with the morning. The next thing, and I guess this is the last thing on our list, use your morning for productive purposes. You've already referenced if you're going to get up and scroll TikTok for an hour, don't even bother getting up. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is use that morning time, use the quiet time when a lot of other people aren't up to be productive. And we're not always just talking about work. We've talked about how to grow your relationship with God. We just had an episode on Bible study. Man, what better way to start your day?
That's right.
What better way to start your day than spending time in the quiet? It's starting to get, bright earlier. You get to watch the sunrise, or maybe get up a little later. You get to just watch the beauty of the morning. Get a book, get your coffee. Just time alone with God. It's a good way to spend your morning. But what we would say is develop those habits. Develop the habit of eventually that becomes something you look forward to. Again, the getting up out of bed part is still very difficult, but it's like I get to go downstairs with my Bible and have my coffee. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look forward to something. If you don't look forward to the morning, I got to do this again. I don't particularly enjoy getting up to exercise all the time, but you know what? I do feel good, and there is an aspect of I know if I'll push through. But a lot of the times when I get up, I genuinely look forward to having time with my wife, with our coffee, before our kids get up, to have that Bible study. We put on, I got a speaker, and we put on some calming acoustic music in the morning, and we got ourselves an espresso machine, and it's all good.
So delicious.
Man, it's great. It's great. But those are the small things that make getting up in the morning. It's one of the reasons we bought it, to be honest. It makes getting up in the morning a little bit easier. Well, I've got something to look forward to, and that may be petty, that may be stupid. You don't need an espresso machine for that, but it's the little motivators that get you out of bed that it's like, I can't wait to get to the table to study the Bible and to really take control of the day. And I notice I'm way more likely to slip into real bad habits, slip into relapsing, slip into whatever else when I'm not doing the morning routine. Because
how
then
interesting is that?
Yeah, I mean, that's why this is so important. So I want to get into how. We're talking that last forum, like you said. Find something that's going to work for you, that's going to be productive: prayer, meditation, exercise, Bible reading, Bible study, even catching up with somebody. If you got an accountability partner or whatever else, give them a call in the morning if they're up. I mean, those are the things that really can help.
And I'm a big proponent of, just quick tangent, exercise in the morning because, again, you push it off till 1, you push it off till 2, then 3, then 5, then 6, then 7. Lo and behold, now you're pushing it off to not at all that day.
That's right.
You're not going to do it. Versus you get up, it's going to be tough, but you knock it out 10 in the morning, and you're like, man, I did my workout 3 hours ago. How about that? Everybody, you know what I mean? So
with making the bed, you talk about something you already did. I've already pumped iron. I mean, I've already had my protein shake, and I've already
gone on my run.
Whatever it is, like, wow, the day hasn't even started. People aren't even going to work, and I've already accomplished making my bed, Bible study, prayer, and gym. And people are just on the road. As I'm coming home from the gym, people are on the road to work. Wow, I mean, that feels really, really good. So the question is, we're talking about these things. How? What are some tangible things that the listener, the watcher here, can tangibly do today to start this?
So this first one that we're going to talk about, again, I'm preaching to myself here because I am not good at this. Good bedtime routines help with the morning routines.
That's right.
Listen, life's crazy. I admire the people that can set their alarm for 9 p.m. and be like, okay, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
My life has never been that way. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. But some people are, and to the best of your ability, try to have a good bedtime routine. Not necessarily the same time every night, but okay, we're going to wind down. We're going to get this done. We're going to head up. We're going to, maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's your prayer time Bible study at night, whatever it is. But have a good bedtime routine. And one of those, again, I've got to get better at this. Keep your phone out of your bedroom.
Yeah.
Goodness knows how many nights you can be like, all right, cool, I'm going to bed at 9:30 tonight. It's 11:45 and you're still scrolling, and I'm guilty. I got the whole basketball game on. Let me turn that on, and I'll just watch the first quarter, and then in the middle of the third, and I haven't gone to bed yet. The phone can be a very it can be a problem for you when it comes to developing these habits, both
That's right.
in the evening and in the morning. So, for many reasons, keeping your phone out of your room as a godly young man is probably a good way to go.
Oh yeah, and it may be how you unwind. Like, man, I just use it for a game, quick game at night. Maybe occasionally I get carried away. Most of the time I'm good with it. I would encourage you to find a new way to unwind. Read a book, you know, I don't know, take up crochet and knitting.
Well, no, I'm gonna disagree a tad bit, because one of the things that I would recommend, looking at a screen right before you go to sleep is not good for
Right.
you. It's not healthy at all. So that part is true. Have somebody else set a screen time password on your
Yeah,
phone.
that's a great point. That's what I have.
So
Yeah.
that either it goes off, so like you're done with everything at a certain time, or you use up your allotted time for the day and you're done. That way, because I do sympathize with the people who, man, I've been going all day. I'm gonna watch a few YouTube videos, or
Sure.
then I'm gonna watch a basketball game, but that thing
That's a really good
shuts
point.
off at 10 p.m. or I've used up my 30 minutes, can't do it anymore. That would be my recommendation.
That's a really good point. Mine shuts off at 9.
Yeah.
My wife has the password because I don't want to
Yeah.
fiddle with it. She's got the password, so at 9, basically all my apps shut off. I have 30 minutes on the day for Safari on my phone. Like, I don't have the YouTube, the Facebook, whatever it is, Twitter. I don't have any of those apps, and so it is able. I guess it's easier for me, but I still have a game that I like to play and unwind, and a little block game. And
There's
so,
multiple ways your phone can get you into trouble in your bedroom.
Right.
Obviously pornography, and we haven't even touched that yet. This is just one as far as you could be. Our main point is, don't be the person that goes to bed at 9:30 and then scrolls for an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
Stays up till midnight.
Binges
Yep.
3 episodes of Stranger Things or whatever it is. That's not good.
And then the
routine.
screen time, the white light or the bright light fills, the blue light and such fills your mind, and it's difficult to go to sleep. So even after you put it down, man, I rolled around till 1, 2 a.m. Like, yeah, maybe because you need to put the phone down. So yeah, I would say the good bedtime routine. I set an alarm there for a while at 9, so I knew, like, okay, now's the time to really start
Shut
rolling
it
down.
off,
You'd be
yeah.
surprised at how fast time flies by, and you're like, whoa, it's 10:30. Man, I better kind of start winding it down. The wind down takes an hour. So the second thing I'd say, get a good alarm or alarm app. Because if you're going to take the phone out of the room, you go, well, that is my alarm. Like,
That's
what
me,
do
yeah.
what do I do then? That is my alarm. This is a little more expensive. Not everybody's going to be able to do this. My wife got me for Christmas one of those alarmies. Is it alarmies? No. Lofty. I'm sorry. Lofty.
Huh.
Alarmy is another app. That's free. Alarmy is the most
Is
annoying.
is that the one where you have to take a picture of?
It is the most annoying
Yes,
app in the world.
I downloaded that.
Oh
yeah.
my word! It works, man. It works. I took a picture of my microwave, and once again, it's the phone in the room, so it's kind of defeating. But you take a picture. I took a picture of my microwave, which is all the way through into the kitchen, and it will not shut off until you take a picture
You have
of the
to
microwave.
match
you have to line
the photo
it
that
perfectly.
you took the night before. Yeah.
Oh my word! I hate that thing, but I'll tell you what, it works because it just gets more annoying. The
Use
app,
that
like-
now, because I've got a small child that I can't have that alarm because it'll wake the 1-year-old.
That's when I
up.
stopped using it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when I stopped using it.
But you people that don't have kids, use it. 'cause
Use it,
it's-
yeah. If you are wanting to get it out of the room, Lofty, it is expensive, but it's got meditation on there. It's got nice white noise, brown noise, pink noise, a bunch of different, rain, soft rain,
Sure.
ocean. I mean, it's so nice. And so I'll use that, and then it has a gentle wake-up chime, and I've actually really enjoyed it. So that's been my main one. The stupid thing is I still
snooze.
I still hit
yeah.
snooze.
That's the next one you got on here.
Yeah, and which is don't hit snooze. I still hit snooze on that. Not great. Not great. But the nice thing about that is it actually gives you a 9-minute snooze cycle.
Yeah.
It recognizes you're going to, so it gently, like the light slowly comes
That's
on. And
nice.
thing.
Yeah.
Either way, even if it's the most annoying $5 alarm clock from Walmart, sometimes that can help as well. Where if you are struggling with the phone in the room for porn or whatever reason, maybe just go buy yourself a cheap
Well, and
alarm
we're
clock.
going to repeat it. It's about the habit. Again,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
there's
Whatever's gonna
probably
help.
still people going, who cares? What's the big deal about what time I get up or what kind of alarm I
Right.
have? It's about the habits. It's about being the type of man, being the type of godly young man that doesn't just see where the day takes him. No, you set the tone for
Yeah.
your day. The other one that we'll have here before we get to some questions here at the end, get accountable if you need to. If you're watching and listening going, man, this is something, man, yeah, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to get better at this. And you get 2 days in and you're back to your old habits.
I
And
did
you
with
get-
you and Jack,
And you
you
get
know?
4 days, that's right, and back to your old habits. Find some people who will check up on you and will say, "Hey, man, how'd your mornings go this week?"
right.
Maybe somebody that you look at and go, "Man, they really conquer their mornings. I want to be like them." Use them
Yeah.
as accountability partners.
Yeah, and if they can hit the gym with you, as we talked about in that episode,
Yeah.
hit the gym with them. That's why I wouldn't go to the gym without my brother probably at 5:30 in the morning, leaving
Yeah.
but you do because somebody's going to be there. So yeah, get accountable. But I want to get into where we're going to close. I think I already know the answer to this, but 2 questions. First off, are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am definitely a night owl.
Yeah.
I have you referenced FOMO earlier, fear of missing out. I have that. Like I hate going to bed early because I feel like there's something.
That's when all the sports are happening, man.
That's when sports are happening. I feel like there's something I'm missing out on. I'm a Lakers fan. They've got a game. It's 9:00. We're recording right now at 9:00. They got a game in half an hour. Should I be staying up to watch a Los Angeles Lakers basketball game at 9:30? No, I should not. But I feel like I'm missing something, and so I've tried to break that habit. Now I also have to get up early in the morning, so again, I'm not going to be watching that game. But I feel like I'm missing out on something. So I hate going to bed early.
Yeah.
But I will say I would not consider myself an early bird. But again, I feel great whenever I have to. Again, not necessarily get up super early, but when I'm up at 5:30, 6, and I get really productive in the morning, I feel like an early bird.
I've been seeing these things. I'm definitely a night owl, and I saw this study recently of. Doesn't really matter. Find what works for you. If you're in the zone at 11:30, sleep in a little bit. That's okay. Like it's whenever your body kind of thrives the most, just lean into it.
Because some people are like that. They'll hit a
Unfortunately,
energy
I
level.
am.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I am. I know if I sit up till 11:30,
Second wind.
some of my best ideas for focus and for other things happen probably post midnight.
Yeah. After you should have gone to bed.
Exactly. And so, why don't you play in it? It goes back to I haven't conquered the day, because when I have to sleep in till 9, 10 a.m., I'm way behind on the day. And so the cycle repeats. And so I am a night owl. That's something I'm trying to change. A good routine, bedtime routine.
How about you,
can help
listeners?
that.
Early bird, night owl.
That's right. Comment underneath. And maybe this, for the second question, you can comment this underneath as well. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
I thought about this question. So Joe put this on the outline, and I don't know. I don't think there's an answer you're quote unquote looking for. I'm interested to hear your answer, but frankly, what gets me out of bed in the morning, because a lot of times it's very early, it's very dark. My wife, my child are still sound asleep, and it's like I would give anything to crawl back into bed. I get up because I feel like I have to. Like I am, specifically as a man, I've got a wife beside me and a 1-year-old in the next room that are relying on me to make sure that I can provide for them and make sure that their financial needs are taken care of. If I crawl back in bed and I get into the habit of crawling back in bed, that all stops. That all ends. So on the surface, getting up in the morning, I do it because I know I have to. I will say, though, again, later on throughout the day, or throughout the morning, I should say, as I'm getting ready to drive in to whatever I've got to do that day, I start to really look forward to the day. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I got this today, and man, this is going to be an awful day. I'm genuinely excited about most days. It's usually after I shower and I've had my breakfast and coffee, but I'm genuinely excited about the day, and that's something I want to encourage all of our listeners and watchers before you answer the question.
Sure.
Be excited about the day. And I think you'll find when you have productive things to do and when you're using your time to the best of your ability, when you're exercising, when you're doing all these things we talked about, you will look forward to your day. If you find yourself as the person who just looks at the day with dread every time they wake up, that's not a good place to be. Look to change that. Yeah. So I'd suffice it to say, starting out, I get out of bed because I feel like I have to. But then it turns into genuine excitement for what the day holds. How about you?
Kids.
Yeah, no, just kidding. Oh, what a lame answer. No.
No, there are days where the kids get me. Saturdays. I still like to sleep in, and sleeping in nowadays is like 8 a.m. For me, but kids are still up before that. No, what gets me out of bed in the morning is, you were my accountability partner on this for a long time. Like, I really struggled to, and finding the why. And for me, the why became, this is who I want to be. I want to be somebody who's not chasing the day, and I love my alone time and my quiet time.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of it at night. I mean, I see clients. I don't get done until 9:30 for the 5 nights of the week.
Yeah.
So I don't get a ton of night time to just unwind. That's morning time. So what gets me out of bed is like, this is my time with my wife.
Yeah.
This is the time where I get to be alone with God.
Joe has come such a long way. When we had this accountability group we keep referencing, Joe, we had goals that we would set in all kind of different areas, finances and exercise and just personal
Bible
stuff. Like Bible reading was another one, or Bible study. Joe had this goal. I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. What was it? Five or 6 days a week.
It was so bad.
We would get on a call once a week, and every single week, so like 75% of weeks, Joe would get on. Well, guys, I didn't get up at 6. I got up at 6 like one day this week. And it was something different every time.
Legit excuses.
A lot of legit excuses, but it's like, man, Joe was not hitting that goal.
No,
he is now. He's hitting that goal because the habits are there, and that's. Man, that if you could take away anything from this episode, it's that habits like these are important. Maybe you're listening again and you're like, man, I can get just as much done if I wake up at 9 as if I wake up at 6:30. I don't think that's true, but hey, you know yourself better than we do, but it's about the habits. It's about figuring out, man, what is it that makes me get out of, what makes you get out of bed in the morning? And
conquering your morning.
Exactly.
You know, setting the tone for the day. If you can set the tone for the day at 9:30 a.m., more power to you, I guess. I don't know too many people that can because everybody else has set it for you. I don't like people setting the tone for me. I'm going to set the tone for myself. I'm going to be positive. As you said, I love that idea. Just exude positivity going into the day. Be excited about the things, the challenges you have, and the things you get to do, because that's a blessing from God.
I think a lot of that is what we've talked about a lot, which men are made to conquer.
That's right.
Men are made to accomplish, to have dominion.
And you're conquering yourself getting out of bed that early.
And again, to go back to why are we having an episode on this? This is an aspect we feel of conquering. This is an aspect of having dominion where you're not letting your sleepiness and your tiredness and your, man, I just want to stay in bed. You're not letting that overrule you. No, you're conquering it. You're deciding this is what I'm going to do. This is the way it's going to be because I'm a man and I'm going to decide to do that. Does that make sense? That's the way I would put that.
So what are you going to do? I mean, that's the question we're going to put to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to conquer your morning, set the tone, get up, make your bed, get out of bed when the alarm clock goes off at an early time, set those good routines? You're going to do that? We're going to pull the covers back over, hit snooze 10 more times, and wake up and be behind.
Not get your Bible study done for the day, not get your exercise done for the day. It compounds. It just adds on. So.
It very much does. So that's the question we'll leave you with. Again, comment underneath. Early bird, night owl, what gets you out of bed
Also, your favorite
morning?
episode. We're really interested to hear.
Oh,
so
that's right. I don't
want
want to bombard too much. Forget about the early bird, the night owl. I'm more interested in what has been your favorite episode up to this point, because I think that'd be very interesting to know.
Yeah. So this has been episode 12. Got a bunch more lined up. Unless you've got anything else to add, we'll wrap there, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 13 of the Godly Young Men podcast.